Hey.
Yes. We are back for another episode
of Seeds of Revolution, Daughters of the Whirlwind podcast.
The revolution is live. I'm Dr. Asantewa Sunni-Ali.
I am Aiyisha T. Obafemi.
And I am Princess Mdaiyah Yisrael.
And this month, we are celebrating International Black Women's History Month. And so the difference between February and March is womanism. Sha Battle, who is a local Atlanta activist and native, actually created International Black Women's History Month in 2015, and it was declared as an official celebration here in the city of Atlanta at that time. And so this month we will be honoring the international history of Black women throughout the African diaspora on the continent and throughout the diaspora. So we're excited for that.
Very
have some wonderful guests this month. And let's start by just kind of checking in, because today we're talking about public health.
Yes.
So I'll start by just saying that I'm feeling pretty good overall. I think that I take life day by day, and I know that we'll talk about some of this when we get to the People Want to Know segment, just around like how to take care of yourself on a day-to-day basis. But I do think it's important for our listeners to know that you should check in with yourself in the same way that we're taking a moment now just to say, how are you?
Right.
You know, or even how am I? Start with yourself and then check in on your loved ones to just really see how they're doing and see what ways that you can either help or put them in, contact with someone who could help.
Or how they can help you.
How they can
That's
help
true
you,
too.
right? How it can be mutual. So yeah, that check-in is important. So I'm doing well overall.
Okay.
How about y'all?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. That check-in is so important. I actually am doing really, really well mentally. I started therapy maybe like a month and a half ago, and it has truly given me a different, sense of understanding, being able to talk to someone who has no
They don't know you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They don't know me, so they can't be biased towards what I'm maybe bringing to them. They can give me complete, honest thoughts and process, what I'm giving them, and give me complete, honest solutions to, issue if I have an issue, or just if I just want to speak about what's going on. So yes, I'm my mental is really well. I feel like physically I'm doing great. I've been on a liquid fast. Today is my 23rd day. Well, actually more than 23 days. It's my it's my 33rd day.
Okay.
Oh wow.
So it's going well when you lose
right
count.
when you it's a 10-day difference.
Yes.
That's
Wow.
significant.
It ends actually on the 30th. And the last 7 days I'm actually just doing all natural, organic grape juice, pineapple juice, and water. So pray for me for these last 7 days.
You are in my prayers
Yes.
because I don't know if I could do that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yes.
So I would say I'm doing well. I think that as you get older, you realize that there's certain things you have to do differently for your body to respond the way that it needs to. So, I was always very, very active and the gym person, right? And even outside walking, which I still love to do that. But I have been thinking more about not going so hard in the gym so that I'm not putting so much strain on my body, and doing more stretching, Pilates, yoga style. So I've been doing a lot of that, and it actually makes me feel better. I've been doing my intermittent fasting for, I don't know, about a month and a half. Started back doing that, and that helps. You can already see the difference. I feel the difference. I feel better. I feel more clear. And then because I work so much and travel a lot doing that, I am definitely taking the time to take the days that I need to just sit still, and work, from one place and not doing so much, which allows me mentally to, be more, be more in tune. So, I'm feeling really good.
Yes. And one thing you just said, I just wanted to bring it out. Like, traveling and fasting, especially intermittent fasting, is, I won't say it's impossible. It takes discipline. And the fact that you're doing that shows just, it comes back to the discipline that, we were given growing up. And it's not I tell people all the time, choose the fast that works best for you.
Right.
Because people are like, oh my God, I want to do what you're doing. I'm like, make sure, test yourself
that you can
first.
do it.
Don't just jump into any fast. Don't just jump into any type of diet, all these diets out here. I don't diet.
Yeah, I don't diet
say
either.
it right now. I don't diet, but I do fast. But decide what's good for you mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
Yeah. Right.
Because a fast affects all of those things.
It does.
So,
and that's the purpose of it.
Yeah. And I think one of the ways that I've gotten better with my intermittent fasting, where it's not really so much of a challenge anymore, is that I'm taking my snacks with me.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Like my seaweed, things that I can travel with on the plane.
Yes.
I take the little shots that I get from Whole Food, the one that have oil of oregano.
Yes. The wellness shots.
All the goodies.
Yes.
Everything. So I take those,
Good.
and because you're allowed to go through TSA with them, even though they're liquid. I thought you couldn't, but I did it one time and forgot, and they never said anything.
Yeah,
so
you
now
told you put me on.
like,
You
yeah.
put me on.
So that's what I do all the time. I have 2 in my bag now.
Yes.
For when I get on the plane.
Take it on the
Yeah.
airplane.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
And
it
that's
helps.
key, preparation. Preparation, because even traveling
And
here,
drinking more water.
and drinking more water.
When you drink water, people, it really
helps everything.
changes it.
Right.
Because you don't want to eat as much.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
You really don't.
And you're giving your body what it needs.
Yes.
Like your body
And I
is
love
made
water.
up predominantly of water. And so you need to replenish, when you're sweating and all the things you need to replenish.
And
with
I would
water.
just say one key thing I did because when you're busy, you forget. I can go 4 hours without putting anything in my system because I'm just busy. I set an alarm every hour, a timer every hour, and then I know at that when it goes off, I
Drink
have to
water.
drink.
Drink water.
Yes,
I
8
used to
ounces
do
of
that. I
water.
did that some years
And it
ago. Somebody
helped.
told me that. They were
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
set a reminder. I know it
Yes.
sounds crazy, but set a reminder.
Yes,
I haven't
It
tried
helps,
that,
so.
but I do. I try to drink about 32 ounces every morning, like upon waking up. I
Yes.
try to start my day with that before I
good.
eat anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that sets me up because I think the more water you drink throughout the day, the more your body will want.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
And you kind of get your body acclimated to
To it.
receiving, the adequate amount of water throughout the day.
And it cleanses you out.
Definitely,
so,
definitely.
yes.
Just keeps your gut happy. But I'll say really quickly on discipline.
Yes.
I always think of that Dead Prez song. Discipline makes things easier.
Yes.
Organize your life. So, when you have that discipline, it actually does make your day go by easier. It makes the fasting easier. It makes your planning easier. It gives you that sense of clarity and purpose.
Yes.
And again, organization around how you're living, how you're eating. I remember there was a personal trainer that I worked with who's, close to our family. She would always tell me to plan what I was going to eat the next day.
Yeah.
Like whether I'm fasting or not. Like, what are you eating tomorrow? What are your snacks going to be?
Right.
How will you break your fast? What's your breakfast going to be, AKA breakfast?
Yes.
So planning your meals. And then I'll say too, to Afua's point around choosing the fast that's right for you. Even if you have embarked upon a fast and you find that, oh no, something's not right, I don't feel right,
Switch it up.
stop.
Yeah.
Don't continue just in the name of like, I have
said
to
it.
do this, because you could be harming your body.
Yes.
Like for me, for example, I have been doing Wet Wednesdays, which my sisters have joined me on a few times. Wet Wednesday, and I try to, for the month of March, try to implement Thirsty Thursdays and Fresh Fridays. And I'm saying tried to.
Attempted.
I did do it.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it, to the extent to which I wanted to, or I thought I would, which is, to my point of like, if you find that it's not working out or you need to alter it a bit, feel free to do so. Our special guest today is Dr. Qasimah Boston, who is our aunt. She actually facilitates fasts.
Yes.
So,
Yes,
you
she
should
does.
follow her. Make sure you're following her to get information around when she's doing those fasts again. But yeah, I'm a nursing mom. I'll be 1 year postpartum next week.
Wow.
Yay me.
Yeah.
It's a journey.
Yay, so.
Yes,
But I
right.
realized like, okay, I may need to slow down on this fasting because I'm still nursing a whole human being. So just be careful, know your body, know your limitations, know what your body needs, and listen to your body along the way.
Absolutely.
Ashe. Okay, so we are getting ready to talk to Dr. Qasimah Boston. She is a strategic approach designer, an artist whose global platform has served many. From a dream to a social enterprise, Qasimah's determination has served diverse people and helped others to implement strategic approaches that help to improve quality of life for global communities. Dr. Boston teaches public health courses and research methods. She is Chief Executive Officer of Goldenrod Consulting, co-founder of the Board of Directors of the Tallahassee Food Network, Incorporated, co-director of the Tallahassee Youth for Change Project, and advisory board member of the Moving Forward Network. Dr. Boston's social science research endeavors involve teams that examine health disparities, social determinants of health, food security, healthy aging, obesity, and childhood obesity, and community engagement. Dr. Boston is a collaborator. She partners with others in health planning and evaluation initiatives to support disease prevention and health promotion.
Welcome to the Daughters of the Whirlwind podcast, Dr. Qasimah Boston, and also our auntie.
Hey, Auntie.
Hey, blessed morning, everyone. Good to hear your voices all in unison. Wow.
How are you?
I'm glad we recorded that.
Yes. How are you today?
I am doing super fantastic. Thinking just about how we're going to solve some of these problems that we have, and coming up with ideas and trying to get the work of the day done as well. But I'm feeling good.
All right.
That's
Good.
good. That's good. Glad you're feeling good, Auntie.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So we're going to
You all
jump.
sound,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, you all sound like you're doing well as well.
Yes.
We are.
We
Yes.
are taking it
Good.
day by day.
Yes.
Day by day.
Good.
So
Yeah.
we're going to jump right in. And the name of your consulting agency is Goldenrod. And so can you talk a little bit about the significance of the Goldenrod, or even explain to folks what is the Goldenrod and how does it relate to your public health work?
Wow. Yeah. Well, Goldenrod is a social enterprise platform to address public health challenges. Of course, the audience, I'm sure, knows that public health deals with the well-being of populations of people. So it could be a population in a small community, a rural community, a big city, but we deal with that kind of thing. So Goldenrod is something that name, a lot of people ask that question, how did you come up with that? But doing my grassroots community work, I used to do a lot of traveling on the road between these southern states. And one of the things I used to see a lot in the early fall is this beautiful, beautiful, I thought it was a weed, growing up and golden. It was golden on the top, and it would grow up really tall. And I'd see that every fall time, early fall to late fall, and it would be all over the highway. So one day I decided to figure out what that was because it was so beautiful, and I found out it was an herb called goldenrod. And this herb can grow anywhere. It's so powerful. And it's a powerful herb in its properties, too. If you check PubMed, which is one of the search engines that we use in our field, you'll see they have all kinds of writings on goldenrod and its medicinal properties. So because it's an herb that can grow anywhere, it can survive anything, I wanted to take on that energy in the work that I do in public health, and I chose that name. And just as an incidental, in Florida, goldenrod is a protective herb. That means that you cannot pick it, you can't destroy it. It's actually one of those herbs that's on the protective list.
Wow.
That's good to know.
Yeah, so that's where that term comes from, goldenrod. And you can buy that herb, purchase that herb, and it is a good blood cleansifier, but it's also a really good anti-inflammatory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Beautiful. What a beautiful metaphor.
Yes.
All the metaphors for us as Black people and particularly Black women as we think about our health and wanting to be protected, needing to be protected, and having those healing properties as well. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, Auntie, for explaining that, because on the land that I live on, goldenrod actually grows wild, and we have picked it and made the tea at different times. We've actually, during one of our holy seasons, we gifted it to everybody who came and told them of the, importance of the goldenrod. So that's beautiful that you have, embraced the properties of it and are utilizing it in your daily activities and your daily business and work. So, Auntie Q, my question is, what advice would you give someone who wants to start an environmentalist foundation or project?
Wow. That's a great question because, in terms of health, environment is one of the most strongest influences over health, over a person's health, the environment that we're in. And so right now we're having some serious environmental challenges, and that spurs on the birth of the environmental injustice movement. And so what I would suggest for someone that's interested in becoming involved in some kind of way in that movement, that's an international global movement, is to look up in your area and find out who's doing environmental injustice work in that area. And I'll share something with my father taught me as a teenager, your grandfather, is that you don't always have to start something. Sometimes you can lend a hand to the work that's already going on, and then that will inform you in a different kind of way on what gap you need to fill. So for example, when we were younger, we always had to volunteer. Every year, he would have us volunteer with an already existing organization.
Powerful.
Yeah, because if you think of an issue like environmental injustice, somebody's already doing that work.
Yes.
So you don't have to reinvent it all the time. But once you're doing that work, and this is my advice, then you can see where you can fill in a gap. Yes. And what I saw as I was volunteering throughout the South is that there was a gap in terms of linking the work that we were doing to better health outcomes. And that's the advice I would give to someone that wants to form an environmental justice initiative. Look and see what's going on already so that you can learn more, and then you can be more effective in whatever it is you decide the gap is that you want to fill. Because there's always a need, right? There's always, because the problem's not solved.
Correct.
Right? So there's always going to be a need for some kind of work in the area. The other thing is that don't worry about the money, because the money is there. And once you put out the energy in the area, opportunities will manifest, for funding or for resources to support what you're doing. If it's a problem, the resources will manifest to support what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And my example is that I started with nothing, and now I have to turn down opportunities because I can't do everything.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie.
Yeah.
This is your eldest niece.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, this is the one. This is the niece, and she doesn't remember that when she was a little girl, I would have to take her with me to different events, and I remember exposing you, Aiyisha, to the opportunity for economic development. And we would make different kinds of jewelry pieces and go to Boston Gardens up in Boston,
yes,
and make some dollars. And we could spend on whatever it was we want. You were a little one then.
Well, yeah, I don't remember everywhere you took me, but I do remember being with you, going to a lot of things. So I do remember that. So my question, and speaking of that, you talking about, me as a young child and you taking me with you, my question, it kind of goes hand in hand with that, because I know how important young people are to you. And I know that you mentor a lot of people, including all of your nieces and nephews, and you've always been there for us, and we appreciate that so very much.
And we thank you.
Yes.
I love y'all.
We love you too. So my question is, how important is it for you to educate young people as you work to teach better health practices in our communities?
Ooh, that's the imperative, right? That's at the top of the list. Because you have to have someone to carry on the work, carry on the tradition that you're bringing forth, carry on the legacy that you're bringing forth. And so it's very, very important because, again, our young people are our future. And so from a public health perspective, Aiyisha, it's critical because we want a healthier next generation, right?
Right.
Right now, Black people, our people, have the lowest life expectancy of any other people in the country. Our life expectancy is 70 years old. But if you go to the Asian community, their life expectancy is 88 years old. The Hispanic community, their life expectancy is 78 years old. But for Black people, it's 70 years old.
Wow.
So we have to do something to turn this around, and it's within our young people, mentoring them on how do you dodge, bob, and weave chronic conditions. How do you do that? Because you can do it.
Yes.
People are doing it.
Yes.
So how do we bob and weave and kind of like not get them? And that's what the populations that live longer than our people are doing. They're avoiding chronic conditions. And it starts when you're young. So in terms of mentoring young people, one of the major pieces of my work is helping young people to understand how environment as well as what we do, what our behaviors are, impacts our health outcomes. We can have longer life expectancy just like anybody else, but there's some changes that have to be made, and it has to start when we're young. Can't start doing it when you're older because it's kind of like behind the curve kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, so you want to start, sharing these lifestyles or ways of living with folks while they're young. The other piece of the youth mentoring that's really important for me is helping young people to do peer-to-peer education. Very important, because a young person is going to listen to each other first before they listen to me. Coming in to talk to them and say, well, you should think about doing it this way or think about doing it that way. But if another young person is saying it to a young person, that peer-to-peer education kind of thing, they're going to pay attention, because they're going to say, well, Mary Beth over from Gaston County said, well, maybe I should eat 5 fruits and vegetables a day.
Right.
I'm going to do it because she's doing it.
Right.
You know, that kind of influence that young people have on each other.
Right.
Yes.
So that's the other piece that's the youth mentoring piece that's so important. And then the third thing I would say is that, you know, I don't believe in the word retirement, but I believe in a term called living well, putting together a living well plan.
Right.
And as I put together my living well plan as I'm aging, I want to be in place some other young people that can take my spot because I'm evolving, right? We're all evolving to the next, to what our next is.
Right.
So you want to have some people in place that can evolve to where you were as you're going to where you're going.
Right.
Does that make sense, I hope?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
It makes all the sense.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So youth mentoring is at the top of the line, and I'll never forget. And my dad was one of my great teachers as a youngster. And I remember when he got to the point where he said to me, and he did youth leadership development work in his time. They just didn't call it that. But he did that. He trained so many young people. And I watched him. And I remember one day he said to me, he said, I'm dedicating the rest of my life to teaching young people. And I thought that was crazy at the time because I was very young.
Right.
But I understand why he got there.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to mentor and shepherd in the next generation of leaders
Yes.
to take over this work because we know our lives are not forever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are some of the things I would say to mentoring young people.
Thank you for that. I love it.
Yes.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I love these conversations because these are, you know, simple topics, but topics that need and should be, you know, talked about.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're going to close out our conversation with you with a few phrases and words that we want you to respond to with the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So the first word is health.
Well-being.
The second word is Black women.
Foundation of the family.
The next one is, who is your favorite revolutionary?
I'm biased. My dad.
And his name is?
Alagio Degbelola.
All right.
Yes.
But I would
Ashe.
also say Fannie Lou Hamer.
Okay. Nice.
A book
That's a hard
everyone.
one.
It is. A book that everyone should read.
Value in the Valley.
Could you share the author?
Iyanla Van Zant.
All right. And the last one is your prayer for the next generation.
My prayer for the next generation is that they take the lessons from the experiences of those shoulders on whom they stand consciously, and not stay in that, but take it to the next place, you know, take it to the next level. That's my prayer, that they remember to do that, that they remember the shoulders on whom they stand, those ones that came before them, those ones that sometimes they didn't like, but they had a good message.
Yes.
Sometimes your parents, you know, get mad at them for certain things, but they had a good message for you. But they take those lessons from remember the shoulders that they stand on and the lessons of those people and take it to the next level.
Okay.
That's my prayer.
Ashe.
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 Well,
Ashe.
Thank you for your time today.
yes.
You're so
We know that
welcome.
you're very
It's been an honor
busy.
to talk with you all, and I'm so thankful for this platform. One of the reasons why I wanted to be here is because I think, you know, I wanted to reach the audience that you have in hopes that we can continue to educate, converse, and move that conversation and education to action.
Yes.
Yes,
absolutely. And honestly, that's why we wanted you here as well, because we know what you have to offer to us as your nieces and nephews and your inner circle, but it's so much more, so many more people that need your love and your guidance and your words and positive energy around the world. And so we thank you once again for blessing us with your wisdom and your energy today. And we love you.
And always being available to us.
Yes.
We love you so much.
Yes.
Oh, Nakupenda.
Nakupenda.
Nakupenda forever.
I love you too. Next time, Nakupenda forever. Next time, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ashe. Peace, Auntie.
Blessings.
Peace.
Peace.
Blessings.
So when we began this podcast, we asked folks to chime in with questions or topics that they want to see us explore or questions that they'd like us to answer. So this segment is called The People Wanna Know Who We Are and What We've Been Doing. So we tell them what we are doing and thinking. All right. The people want to know. So someone asked, can you be a plant-based dash cook?
Interesting. Now we need to explain what a dash cook is.
Yes. So they said that a dash cook is a person that uses a dash of this and a dash of that, like whatever's in their cabinet to make food. And so they were saying that this specifically comes from stories of Savannah or the Geechee Gullah heritage and culture. So can you be a plant-based dash cook?
That sounds like gumbo to me.
Yeah.
Because gumbo is a dash of a lot of different things.
Yes.
And honestly, sometimes I cook like that. It just depends on what it is. If I don't have
that's
all
how
my
I cook anyway.
ingredients,
Even
I'll
when I
come up
have
with
my
something.
ingredients.
I think that's how black folks cook.
I don't measure.
Me either.
I go by the feel when I'm stirring it and the taste. And
there was a
that,
meme.
I'm done.
There was a meme that said, "I don't measure anything,
Yeah.
not just seasonings, but
Right.
proportions of different ingredients. I
Right.
just, I just go until the ancestor says, yes, my child, that's enough.
That is it.
Yes.
So yeah, I think we all cook. You know, what's the name of Tabitha Brown's book, Cooking from the Spirit?
Yes.
I think
yeah.
we all do that.
Yeah.
and
Definitely.
especially she's vegan, so it's a great example of
Of a
the
dash
answer
cook.
is yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
You can be a
Yes.
plant-based dash
Dash
cook.
cook. Yeah.
Because so many of us are just cooking out of necessity and just, doing what we can with what we have.
Yes.
And so I would say yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because I like a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
Yep. And then someone else asked, can you talk about the truth about balancing life? Is this concept real?
It is absolutely real. Coming from a woman who is, as we all know, we're all mothers on this podcast, balancing motherhood, wifehood, sisterhood, just being a woman, womanhood, period.
In the hood.
Or out the hood. Wherever you are, balancing that is, I think it just comes with experience. It's not written in a book. It's not, you can look at another woman and say, oh, I like how she's doing it. And it comes from examples. And that's a way to do it too. I can look at my sisters and say, okay, I like how they balance that, and then I can say, okay, let me see how I can place that in my daily activities and see how it fits, because the way someone else balances their life may not fit the way you need or can balance your life.
Right.
So I could say for me, honestly, what I do, I get up at 5 a.m. for prayer. That helps me. If I don't get up for prayer, I feel like I forgot something for my day. And of course, that means I forgot to place the Creator in my day from the very beginning. And at 5 a.m., it's still dark outside. So sometimes I get up for prayer, I may go back to sleep. Sometimes I'll get up for prayer and then I get my day started. So it just depends on, what my mood is for the day. But every time I do it, I feel great. And that helps to balance my complete day. And then I pray 3 times a day. I pray at 2 p.m., that helps me balance out my afternoon and get more focused. Then I pray right before I go to sleep. And in between those, I write down what I need to do. I have a to-do list. And I didn't always do it. My husband encouraged me to do it because he's the type, he'll give me a list and then by afternoon, he's like, so what did you get done? And I'll look, I'm like, oh, I forgot what you said. I may have got one thing done, but now I write the list and it makes me feel more fulfilled when I can put check marks,
check off,
you know, and say, oh, I did this. And then I have something I know, okay, my day was fulfilled because I was able to check off majority or all of my list. And that's how I balance mine. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that it is definitely necessary to balance because you could start and in your mind, you have 10 things. Yeah, I'm going to do this today, do this today, do this today. And like you just said, a fool, you might look back and like, wait a minute, I only did 2 of the 10 and I had how many hours?
Right.
Mm-hmm. So what was I doing?
Facebook strolling.
I can definitely say my social media time has been cut drastically. Like I'm not even on it as much as I used to be.
Congratulations.
You know, and it feels so much better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't even try to manage like all of them. Yeah. You know, I have Facebook, and mainly because, you know, we have the family groups and all of these different things. I'm not even really on it. Like if I post, I post and I'm not even looking.
Right.
And then I just keep it moving. And on Instagram, I've started doing that as well. So that helps. And then just knowing how you want to spend your days. You know, do I want to be less stressful? Of course I do. Do I want to have, you know, more peace and not so much of the noise? So that's when you start blocking out the noise. And like Afua said, just writing down your task list, you know, your to-do and checking them off and knowing that, okay, I've done this, I've done that, you know, and then you look at the end of the week and like, I was very productive this week, you know, and it makes you feel better.
Yes.
Just about everything.
It really does.
And it makes you feel lighter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say that balancing, like to answer the question, like, is the concept of like balancing life real in the sense that you balance your life, like you find a balance and then that's it, and then I'm coasting. Like in that sense, no, like that's not real.
You're never coasting.
I think that you don't find the balance and then it's found,
right? And that's
complete.
It.
You're forever balanced.
Yeah,
I think that it's a day-to-day thing, which is what I kind of referenced earlier. It's an everyday thing. One of my mentors, working in academia, so this is one of my mentors specifically in academia. Working in academia, there's so much output. Right, writing articles, teaching, you're being pulled on in all of these different ways by colleagues, by the administration, by the university, by students. And so one of the things that she would always kind of remind me to do is ask myself what my needs are in that particular moment. So if I found myself feeling overwhelmed or even just upon waking up, what do I need today? Because every day's balance looks different. I think that you balance your life through balancing your moments, you know, and that's mindfulness essentially. Right, being mindful, being present to every moment, living moment to moment with consciousness around how you're feeling and what your needs are in that particular moment. So that's what I do. I don't necessarily think about balancing my life anymore. Right. Especially after you have so many things going on. Like Afua said, like, if you know, you're playing these various roles, you know, as wife, as mother, you have multiple children, you know, you have a lot. And so thinking about balancing your life could feel like
overwhelming.
Yeah, this big feat versus like, how do I balance this day? How do I balance this moment? And then how do I remind myself to balance the next moment and the next moment as they come? So I wake up in the morning and I say, okay, my neck feels a little bit cramped, you know, or I nursed in a really awkward position. Let me go ahead and kind of work out these kinks. Let me, you know, stretch my back, stretch my neck a little bit. I'm really thirsty. I didn't drink enough water. You know, it's checking in also. Like, did I drink enough water yesterday? Because you're going to feel that the next morning.
Yeah.
So it's really about, assessing yourself moment to moment. And I would start with just asking, what do I need? Like, what do I need right now? My body needs water. I need to stretch. I need to eat. What kind of food do you need to eat?
Right.
Your body knows that.
Right.
If you ask and you really listen,
Yes.
like, oh, okay, I need fruit. Or I need something fresh. Or I need a green drink.
Yes.
Or I need some soup. I need something warm. Your body will tell you.
It will tell you.
Yeah.
So,
And meditation helps too. I didn't say that. I meditate before I even get out of the bed. And that helps because it's like, you think about, what do I need to do? What would I like to do? What is my focus? And meditation helps with that. And it helps to bring me peace. It helps to bring me balance. And that's something, that I have found over the years that really
Works.
I appreciate it. Yes.
That's good.
yeah, to set those intentions.
Yeah.
And then meditation doesn't have to be like,
Right.
Well, it's definitely not for me.
It could just be being still, and kind of clearing your mind and opening your mind.
Yeah, that's
to,
exactly what it is.
what
for
it
me.
is that you have to do.
And I do it without the music.
Yes.
I just lay there and I'll talk to myself.
Yes.
And if there's something specific that is on my mind, I may, speak about that internally
Yeah.
and then meditate on that.
On that, yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I've done that plenty of times. Lay there and say, oh, or I'll reflect. Really, truly, what I find myself doing, if I had a dream that woke me up, I'll sit there and meditate on that dream for a while or that vision, because to me, a lot of my dreams have become visions of what's coming to happen or what has happened and how I need to readjust so that I can make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Right.
And I'll sit and reflect on that, and I'll write down my dream, something that, Auntie Qasimah and my husband always tell me repeatedly, write it down, write it down, write it down. So I've become accustomed to doing that, especially if it's something that is so vivid in my mind that I wake up and I'm ready to talk about it. So I write it down, and then I just think about why that vision came to me and what I need to do about it. And sometimes it's not even a physical action that you have to do. It's something mental, and it's just something, or it's just something that you had to release. So I think it's important. All those things helps to balance,
Right.
And I think it was important what you said, Aiyisha. I believe you said it, of really concentrating on what, or maybe it's not what I said. I don't know. You sounded like.
we said that.
We both said it.
Yeah.
Right.
Concentrating on what you need, what your body is saying.
Definitely.
I need this right now. And I know for me, like you said, if I wake up and I have a slight headache, I'm like, oh, where's my water? So I keep water right by my bed.
As
and
do
drink,
I.
As do I.
As soon as I drink it, I feel so much better. It just flows through, and it feels like my blood is jumping up like, yes, thank you. I needed that. So it's so important to be mindful of what your whole body needs, which helps to balance your daily activities.
Yes. Yes.
And I'll say one last thing just to this question, because it's a great question. So thank you for asking it. Afua talked about making lists and even writing down the dreams, and it made me think about brain dumps. And that's what I do also. Like, I do it in my work practice, because again, there's just so much on my mind, and especially when you're thinking about embarking on a particular project or whatever it might be, teaching a course, you want to just kind of empty your brain of all the different thoughts that you're having about it. And so feel free to do that also as a part of your meditation upon waking up. If you find that, my head is so full, you could do that before bed too, to help you to wake up with a clearer and lighter head.
Yes.
So
definitely releasing.
brain dumps are amazing.
Amazing.
Just write it all down, and it doesn't have to manifest as a list of to-dos. It can just be, this is all that's on my head, this is all that's on my mind, and you can think about how to address the different things, maybe throughout your day or at a later time.
Right.
Definitely.
I agree.
Well, we want to thank you for the many questions. It was very hard for us to pick, but we will continue this segment, and we hope that you enjoy People Want to Know. And you have been listening to the Seeds of Revolution, Daughters of the Whirlwind podcast.
Look for me in the world.